Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright guys, Boruto chapter 71 review. This chapter right here was absolutely insane. I talked about this in my spoilers. There was so much plot that was actually forward in this chapter. I'm pretty sure I'm not necessarily going to be able to talk about everything in depth in this particular video, but I will try my damnness. The first thing I definitely do have to talk about is Code getting absolutely washed, getting cream pie. This man got absolutely obliterated, but his unlimited form. We thought that we were going to get to see a full display of his unlimited form, not versus the character that we actually did get to see him perform against, which was Daemon, and we'll talk about Daemon a little bit later. We seen him perform against Daemon, and of course that fight right there was extremely short. We didn't even really get to see a full 20 pages correctly with Code being unlimited in his actual fighting style. And to be frank, Code didn't land not one blow on Daemon. And in this particular situation, you know, a lot of people are going to be stunned. A lot of people are going to not necessarily like it. I'm taking a very different approach to this. I believe that Code is probably going to eventually be a great villain, and this might actually be the character development that Code actually does need. One of the things that a lot of people have been kind of saying that's been a bad thing about Code as right now is that we don't necessarily know a lot of his history, and of course his character hasn't necessarily been completely developed to the utmost. I personally believe that this right here is just all part of Code's character development. Code in this particular situation, he's been taking L after L after L. I'm talking about shades of Will Smith type of L's. But one of the things that we do understand is that everybody loves a comeback story, and everybody loves to root for the underdog. Because Code has been perpetually taking these L's, he's somehow gained a following, gained a fan base, and people who actually do want to see him thrive in the series of Boruto. One of the characters that I kind of compared Code to, and of course this right here is a villain from My Hero Academia, is Shigaraki. Shigaraki at the beginning of My Hero Academia, he wasn't necessarily the person that could act stand alone as the main sole villain. Of course he was weaker than All For One, and eventually Shigaraki became that guy. By the way, I haven't necessarily been keeping up with My Hero Academia, so I can't necessarily say for sure, but one of the things that we do understand is that they were actually developing the villain over time. Even though he himself was also catching L's, they were still developing his character. I personally feel like this right here is probably the same thing that's going to happen with Code, and eventually this might be a hot take. Code might actually become one of the best villains in the whole entire series. If they do this correctly, I won't be surprised if he has the type of character development that will lead people to believe that, hey, this guy is the best villain that we've seen in the entire series. This is all depending on if the Boruto writers are going to do what is correct, because what we seen in the last chapter was not correct. The reason why I'm going to call Code getting ragdoll foul play is because they were kind of hyping up this quote-unquote unlimited form. I personally believe that if they were hyping up this unlimited form, they should have shown Code at least beat somebody, and of course give us some more insight about what was quote-unquote limited. Because in the last chapter we were kind of questioning, hey, is Code going to get some brand new abilities? Is Code just going to be faster and stronger? Is Code actually going to get some brand new hacks from his quote-unquote unlimited form? We didn't necessarily get to find out anything about that, and the reason why we didn't necessarily get to find out anything about that is because Daemon is just a lopsided opponent. Having him fight a character like Daemon is not necessarily going to show the fan base what this quote-unquote unlimited Code can actually do. And at this particular point, to be honest, a lot of people aren't necessarily going to care about Code at this particular point. A lot of people are kind of moving their fan base onto Daemon, even though I did say that Code was getting some fans a little bit earlier, but there is that other side that were already Code fans that now feel like it's a lost cause. Like it's just a lost cause because they have nothing to look forward to. One of the things that I definitely do have to point out is that Code was absolutely adamant about him potentially getting stronger, going to dimension to dimension, and of course planting god trees and eating the chocolate fruit. I've said this in my preview and even my podcast. By the way, shout out Cloud Ninja podcast, link to that is going to be in the description down below. Code needs to go to other dimensions, go to other planets and plant god trees there, and then eat those chocolate fruits. Potentially even go to another dimension that already got a god tree planted and just steal their chocolate fruits. One of the things that we do understand about Code right now is that he is stronger than Jigen, which is going to be very important in this journey. He's also stronger than Naruto and Sasuke. Daemon kind of confirmed that in this particular episode. I'm not necessarily sure if Daemon would know how strong Naruto and Sasuke are, or even Jigen, but he's probably right. But the important part about that is Momoshiki Otsutsuki in its base form alongside Kinshiki Otsutsuki were going dimension to dimension consuming chocolate fruits. And Code right now, as I said, stronger than Jigen, is most likely going to be significantly stronger than a base Momoshiki and a base Kinshiki. That would mean that he's more than capable of doing exactly what Momoshiki Otsutsuki was trying to do, or what Momoshiki did actually do. Now, he did say that he wants to actually become an Otsutsuki member, come back, and I'm pretty sure if he eventually does come back, he will most likely have to be stronger than Ishiki Otsutsuki, being able because Code will probably have Daemon be a person that actually does oppose him. And as of right now, Daemon himself might be very close to a Baara Naruto or even an Ishiki Otsutsuki. This right here is looking absolutely insane. But regardless, that is going to be the roadmap for Code and of course what he wants to do in the future. Now, I talked about Daemon. How strong is Daemon? We have absolutely no idea. One of the things that we do understand is that he greatly surpasses Jigen. But if I give my prediction right now, I'm going to say that he's still a bit weaker than Ishiki Otsutsuki, but it's very close. It looks significantly close. And speaking of Daemon, some of his abilities actually did get leaked in this particular episode, or some more of his abilities got leaked in this particular episode, or even a potential weakness some people want to say. Daemon has to be touching someone for his reflective abilities to actually work. Some people are even questioning this, Malum, because earlier on in the actual manga when he's fighting against guards, that wasn't necessarily needed. There is one scene or one frame when he actually reflected someone that was actually pulling out a sword. One of the guards' heads got completely chopped off, and Daemon wasn't touching anybody. Now, one of the things that we do know the Boruto manga for, they're essentially famous for changing things and actually correcting things when the anime actually does come around. So hypothetically, if that's genuinely like a mistake on the Boruto writer's part or the Boruto illustrator's part, then of course it's probably going to be fixed in the anime when it actually does come. Hopefully it comes soon, by the way. But regardless, another thing that we do have to talk about has to be Amado and his ulterior motives. It was absolutely confirmed in this particular episode. He actually said that he needed Kawaki's karma for something. Now, of course, the something, quote unquote, hasn't necessarily been stated as of yet. It might be for good, it might be for bad. We have absolutely no idea as of yet. One of the things that we do understand is that there has been like a popular theory that Kawaki's eye and also Ishiki Otsutsuki's eye is actually able to grant wishes. And one of the things that we do understand that Amado has been kind of talking about is, of course, him losing his daughter. And hypothetically in the future, if he wants to wish his daughter back, that would probably be like a very good thing or a very good motivation for Amado. But of course, let's keep it 1,000. It is an anime, so the possibility of Amado wanting Kawaki to do some nefarious things for him, it's probably high. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. What do you guys think that Amado really wants to use Kawaki's karma for? Now, not only that, he also installed an off button into Kawaki, and this right here might actually be under the knowledge of Naruto. Like Naruto and everybody else might have actually said like, yo, this off button is a good thing. Now, Amado didn't necessarily say it point blank, and of course I always give Naruto a bunch of leeway, because if they don't say it necessarily point blank, I'm not necessarily gonna believe the worst of my guy Naruto. But it's looking like Naruto did actually conspire with Amado to actually put an off button into Kawaki. And this right here might be a very, let's say, sensitive subject to Kawaki, because if Kawaki eventually finds out that Naruto instructed Amado or gave Amado the okay to put an off button into Kawaki, Kawaki might feel a bit betrayed by Naruto. And I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't necessarily be the best reason for Kawaki to go absolutely rogue and turn against Naruto and Boruto, but this wouldn't necessarily go over well with Kawaki, I'd assume. But the way that Amado explained it is that this was essentially his trump card. Like, this right here was the insurance that everybody wouldn't necessarily need to get rid of him, mainly because no one in the Hidden Leaf Village right now can actually hold Kawaki. If no one except Amado can actually hold Kawaki, and of course that right there is going to be one of the biggest questions raised from the other villages, of course they need Amado there to actually say like, hey, we have Amado who already implanted the off button, so you guys have nothing to worry about. So it seems that Amado's spot in the Hidden Leaf Village, just because of this quote unquote off button, is secured. But again, how is Kawaki going to feel about this, and is Kawaki going to find out about it period point blank? I have absolutely no idea. Now, not only that, why was this thing never used in the time skip? Like, Kawaki is essentially saying the time of Shinobi is over. Kawaki saying that he sent Naruto somewhere. Why in the world has the off button not been used? Like, one of the things that we do understand is that if you do use the off button, it's not necessarily over for the cyborg. Like, we've seen Delta be turned off by Amado and then her come back later on. If this is genuinely an off button and Amado's not necessarily bluffing, why didn't he use it? And because he didn't use it, does that mean that Amado's actually on Kawaki's side when he turns against the Hidden Leaf Village in the future? These are all, and again, plot wise, this chapter was insane. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff that was in this chapter. Now, not only that, Daemon and Eida actually headed to the Hidden Leaf Village. This is a good thing and a bad thing. The good part about it is the fact that, hey, we have these two GOAT level characters, like actual Otsutsuki level characters, coming to the Hidden Leaf Village. They're probably going to add to the defenses of the Hidden Leaf Village, and I'm pretty sure the other villages are probably going to be pissed off that they actually did add these two other characters that are probably able to solve their entire villages. But I personally believe this is probably a bad thing, mainly because they're not necessarily there for the Hidden Leaf Village. They're there for Kawaki. And this just bolsters Kawaki's support if he does decide to leave the Hidden Leaf Village. Like, hypothetically, let's assume Kawaki wakes up one day for whatever reason and says, hey, I don't want to be the Hidden Leaf Village. Boruto did something to me, Naruto did something to me, I don't know, but I want to go rogue. I want to be my emo stuff like Sasuke. Kawaki now has Amado, potentially, because he didn't necessarily get turned off in the future. He potentially has Kawaki, Eida in his team, and of course Daemon in his team. That's like a village onto itself. Like that's like a whole army onto itself. So eventually, if Kawaki does decide to leave the Hidden Leaf Village, this man Kawaki has firepower. He has firepower. So this, again, it's a good thing and a bad thing. But one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that Eida and Daemon, they are not loyal to the Hidden Leaf Village. They are loyal to Kawaki. They are loyal to Kawaki Uzumaki. But I'm gonna leave you guys with that. And again, I'm probably gonna make a lot more videos specifically about this chapter, mainly because getting to all these points in probably like 8 to 10 minutes probably gonna be impossible. But let me know what you guys think about these in the comment section down below. I'm probably gonna make a video responding to you guys' comment probably tomorrow or the day after that. But it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.